Just a little problem that you might come up against is this one. This is, if I find their actual section, what did you spend money on during a holiday? So this is free as holiday money. Make sure you put titles with these things. Spending. Okay, and I ought to put up favourite football teams. Okay, so make sure you've got titles with each thing. A nice thing to also show with these would be to say, write us a little sentence after it. So if we look at that sentence, we've drawn it, and from the pie chart, you can actually say Birmingham is most popular. And you can even go a little bit further and say closely followed by Newcastle. Okay, you can say that from the data as well, but whenever you draw a diagram, you should properly give a comment as to what it is telling you. Not just draw a diagram and leave it. If you were doing it properly, you would always give a comment and a reason. So let's go through Freya's holiday spending money. Again, we need an angle, and we want 360 degrees. And then let's add up the amount she spent. She spent 32, 36, 21, and 17. That's $106 she spent. So we would like to know what $1 is. And when we do $1, we're going to divide by 106. So we divide the 360 by $106. Press equals, and we get a decimal number, which is 3.396 degrees. Now, if you're doing this accurately, what you could round this to is about 3.4 degrees, or if you're using a calculator properly, set that to being a variable. Now, because we're talking about we're doing a pie chart, I would set this in memory A. So you do Shift, Store into A. And that means my number is there. So now when I calculate my angle, so I've got $32, $2 multiplied by my angle A, so alpha A brings up that memory for the Casio. Turn it into a decimal number, and it says 108.67 and extra angles. These are impossible to measure, so always round to the nearest angle, nearest degree. You are unlikely to be able to measure more accurately than 109 degrees. Do the same thing with the next one, 36 multiplied by the variable A, and we get 122, which is 122.2, the 2 rounds down, so it's 122 degrees. I'm just going to finish these off for you now. Okay, so we've got the angles there that need to be plotted. You would plot it in the same way to get the diagram. But there's a little question. What would you do if you were missing a couple of degrees here because of the rounding errors? It's normally only 1 or 2 degrees, and in that case I would probably separate and put it into the number it would make the most difference with. So rather than measuring at 122 degrees, if I was missing 1 degree, so this does add up to 360 degrees. If it only added up to 359, I'd make the change to the biggest one going. That's the one that if you've got to make any corrections for the 360, make corrections on the largest sector, unless they're quite significant. If it would turn it into the second largest, spread them a little bit more. Okay. So that's how I would do that one. Okay, so if we look at those ones, what we've now got is we can look at the sectors, and what we can see from the sectors is she spent most money on food and entertainment rather than presents and day trips. If you really got into it, you could say that she actually spent more on her entertainment, but from the pie chart, what you can clearly see is that she spent more on entertainment and food and drink. So Freya spent more, or even most, because this is, I can say most because these two together make more than half. That's the condition for her most. So Freya spent most on entertainment and food and drink. Okay, so that's what you can do with pie charts. This is a horrible one, but my iMaths task that I'm going to ask you to do as well will expect you to calculate these numbers, and you do need your own calculator to do it. I'm afraid you can't do it in your head, and they don't provide the calculator themselves. Just pull down the task so you are clear.